Hi, everyone, and welcome to our second webinar of World Cleanup Day. And today we have Thomas de Groote of River Cleanup as our guest. So he worked as a lean coach, program manager, and change manager in the healthcare sector. And 2 years ago, he decided to dedicate his life to clean up the rivers, river by river. So let's get Thomas with us. Right.
Hello. Good evening.
All right. So my first question is, you have a background in project and lean management, and you worked in the healthcare sector for many years. How did you get involved in cleaning? And especially cleaning up the rivers, of course, right?
Yeah, I have to say it was not my intention when I started working, or I never thought that I would end up in a business like this, if I can call it like that, what we are doing. So I have to say that change is something that always has been important for me, change something for other people. So I think due to what I have been doing in the past, that this project now really fits very well to my passion. So, but everything starts actually in 2017 with a first cleanup. I was challenged by Valerie de Groote, that's my sister. She challenged me to join a 10 minutes cleanup. It was she said, it's something super simple, you should do it, just try it, and it feels super nice. So at first I said, why do I have to clean up somebody else's trash? Because at home I put everything nicely in the bin. My mom and dad taught me to separate glass from plastic and cardboard, so that worked perfectly well. So why did I have to pick up somebody else's trash? But she convinced me, like she often can convince me when she's right, of doing it. And you can go to the next slide. There you can see the picture of our next action. Our first action, sorry, it was in August 2017. I still remember the concept. So we decided to make like a crazy movie that my daughter, she's on the left of your screen. She was this cool hipster girl walking around in a street, and she would see trash on the street. She would call the superheroes, and then my two sons, together with the neighbor boy, and myself, we were the trash hero, cleaning everything up. Jack in the middle, he even got like a spray to disinfect the whole thing, so he had the coolest tool of us all. And then it was a challenge where you had to do it 10 days in a row. It originates from Jean-Paul Meus, who does 10 minutes a day. I think he already does it for 4 years, non-stop. So every day he picks up 10 minutes, and every time he challenged new people to do the same and to try it. So I think in total, he inspired and he activated so many people already that, I think the planet owes him a huge favor. This man is like a huge inspiration for so many of us. So that was the first action, what you see there on the screen. If we go to the next slide, there you see the pictures of the following actions. So I did plugging, that's actually jogging and picking up trash at the same time. I involved some friends in Mechelen, our best friends, and their kids. They also got a cool outfit. And then we even cleaned part of Weekend Dance in Ostend. It's a beach festival, dance festival, where it fell in the 10 days. So yeah, I stick to the plan and I did it. So, and the whole thing about this small little actions was that it was so easy to do, but it gave me and everybody that joined such a great feeling. It really gave us the feeling that we were saving the planet. So you can go on the next slide to see this was exactly the feeling that we got, that we were that we were doing something super good for the planet. And I think the reason why you get that feeling is because you see a dirty spot, polluted spot on the planet, on the street, you clean it up, and directly, instantaneously, you have the the result. So you get directly the result from your action. So of course that opened the eyes. So ever since that moment, I think something changed in my mind, because before I didn't see the trash, but the moment you pick it up, the moment you pick up the trash from somebody else, you start to see it, and you can't unsee it anymore. So everywhere you go, everywhere you walk, you can see trash, and unfortunately the trash is really everywhere. um, so the idea was to look it up. With my background, I like always to find in lean, it's about finding the root cause and the real problem. And so we looked into the data, and I found out that actually every year over 8 billion kilograms of trash enter our oceans. Actually, it's only plastic trash that enters our ocean. That means always compare it with 1 kilogram of trash is equivalent as a container as big as yourself, as an adult man or woman, that you fill with plastic bag, plastic straws. So that equivalent every year we throw into our oceans as a society. So that's just incredible. And if you know that it stays there for up to 500, or some things just stay there for forever, yeah, it's just a huge problem. So if we go to the next slide, yeah, that's the 8 billion. So it looks like that. It's indeed with 9 times 0. So that's super crazy. So that was a problem. And we know at this time that the trash stays there until it comes back. And we know it comes back because it degrades to microplastics or nanoplastics, or even the very small particles. And it's like a magnet, because if you have a piece of plastic in the water, all the pollutant or the bad toxic elements, they are attached to it. And then the little fish or the little organisms, they eat the microplastics containing the toxics as well. The bigger fish eat them as well. It enters our food chain, it enters our water. And yeah, that's actually a huge problem, which I personally think we haven't seen the last of it. The research is just since a few years focusing on that, and I think it will be even worse than smoking, I think. So that's how it started.
Okay, great to hear, Thomas. So yeah, it opened your eyes, and also it's great to see that Jean-Paul Meus of 10 Minutes a Day was a big inspirer for you. He also worked a lot with us, with World Cleanup Day Belgium. So that's nice to see. But how did you end up focusing on rivers? Can you illuminate a little bit on that?
Yeah. So I have to admit, I'm not a good swimmer. So cleaning up the ocean, it's not really my cup of tea, because I don't like to go in the water, and certainly not in a big ocean. And there are people doing that. Luckily, Boyne Slat and his team, they are doing an amazing job. So oceans was not the priority. During the research, we also found out that 80% of all the trash entering our oceans comes from rivers. So if you want to stop the plastic from reaching the ocean, it's better to stop it in the river, where you can actually reach it, and you don't have to travel one day to go to the middle of the ocean. So that idea was soon decided to focus on rivers. So on the next slide, you see the first, not the first action, you don't see the picture, but you see the Rhine. So the idea was to start with the first river, and we moved from Antwerp to Düsseldorf for my wife's profession. She got a new job here in Düsseldorf, and together with the local team, Pro Düsseldorf, guys that were doing cleanups locally in Düsseldorf, 10 to 15,000 people, we decided to focus the first time to organize a cleanup along the Rhine. So the idea was not to go in the water, but to just activate as many cities as possible along the Rhine. So if you know that it goes through 6 countries, the Rhine, our objective was to have 3 countries involved and 9 cleanups. That was in total what we wanted to obtain. In reality, it became 10,000 people in 5 countries, almost 60 cities, all with one goal: to create awareness and to take action. Only Liechtenstein didn't join, unfortunately, and ever since it's now the third year we do the Rhine Cleanup, it's very difficult to get them on board. So maybe when they see this, they might join. So 10,000 people joined, and that means that those 10,000 people also had the same change that happened to me. Because if you pick up the trash, your eyes open, you start to see it. And if I look back now, ever to that moment, my whole life changed. Because if you're aware of the trash, you also start buying different things. You start taking care on other ways too for the planet. You travel on a more eco-friendly way. You compensate your flights if you need to take the plane. You eat healthier. You eat less meat, and all these things. I think to me, it all goes back to that moment of 10 minutes. So that was the first action on the Rhine. On the next slide, you can see we had a lot of press attention as well. One of the team, Joachim, he had good contacts and he activated so many newspapers. So not only 10,000 people joined, but also even a multiple of that read about it, and there the same thing, the same awareness and the same change occurred in their brain. So that was 2018 was the first Rhine cleanup. So 1 year after the 10 minutes. So then last year in 2019, after this Rhine cleanup, I got a feeling like, oh, wow, this here is more with this river concept, because people like to go out, they like to go to the river. It absolutely makes sense because 80% of the trash comes from in the ocean, comes from rivers. So it felt like we had to do something more. The colleagues from the Rhine, they decided to keep focusing on the Rhine. Myself, I contacted two good friends, and together we founded in January 2019. We founded River Cleanup with the ambition to take it as a global initiative and to activate much more people all over the world. So 2019, we activated 10 rivers, and in total 40,000 people that joined all the cleanups all over the world. I think on the next slide we can see some pictures about that. So up till now, I think we are at 56,000 people in 550 locations, and we collected more than 500,000 kilograms. So main focus is Europe, but we also had two projects in Cambodia and Indonesia where we also started taking action.
Right, so only 2 years after the first 10 minutes cleanup, that's really great. I see that you activated a lot of people, and that's also the aim of World Cleanup Day, to activate a lot of people to see really the problem of the trash, right? Because that's indeed an eye opener, and that's why.
I also have to say that we worked in many countries also together with World Cleanup Day, so it's also part of the people that joined. That was also a huge push for us to grow and to expand. So that's also important to say. So
yeah, that's great to hear. So is your focus only on people, or are there responsibilities of companies as well to reduce their plastic waste? Because of course you have these big companies that are producing it, that are using it. And we had our last webinar around zero waste, of course, and it's indeed a very important thing. In my opinion, to also get awareness around that and see that we consume less on that level.
It's a good question. Our approach is there. You have different approaches, but our mission is to take all the trash out of our rivers. I think it's the next slide. Out of our rivers and our river banks by activating people. Yeah, so this is Belgium. I think we stopped a little bit too fast. So also in Belgium, I mentioned the partners. Yeah, okay, we can go on. So the mission is there to get the waste out of our rivers and our river banks. So that's the mission we defined last year, end of last year. So also in the water. That was new, because up until then we only were focusing on the river banks. We do it with humans and technology, and by doing so we change behavior. So our approach is really an inclusive one, and we have other organizations that really say no, we go absolute for the zero waste, and we want everybody to stop using all plastic. We are not that extreme, because in my opinion, also with my lean background, I had the most effect when you make small incremental change with many people every day. So if I ask you to become tomorrow zero waste, you will not do it. If I ask you to drop 2 kinds of plastic, or to choose a better or less packaging, or recycle plastic packaging as a first step, it's a step in the good direction. So we work with companies that express that they want to change something. So we work, for example, with Deleuze. They had this huge social media storm where they gave their customers the Lego blocks packed in all plastic. So they made a huge mistake, but they said, mea culpa, this was wrong. So now we have a plan to get rid of all our plastics by 2025 and become plastic neutral. And so they have big ambitions there. Some people say, yeah, you can't work with them because they're the polluters. We want to do it together with people, companies, and governments. So our strategy, you can see it on the next slide. It's in 3 pillars, where you see clean. So that's about people and technology. Education. So there we have a program for schools and universities. And transformation, there you see companies and governments. So all of our partners, we have on a yearly basis, we evaluate, okay, this is what we agreed on. This is your ambition to reduce the amount of plastic that you sell and that you produce. And every year we evaluate. And if it turns out that it's not enough, or it's not like we agreed, then we stop the partnership and we move on. So that's ideal. If you focus on clean, maybe it's so here you see a picture of a school that's just amazing. I don't know if you ever did cleanups with schools, but we give a 15 minutes presentation to the kids, and then afterwards we take action outside. And it's so good to see so much energy and to see so many, the younger generation that is willing to take change. So that's a nice picture. I think on the next one you see a slide where we work with companies. So it's not only doing the inspiration and the cleanup, it's also, here you can see we worked on how to reduce single use in the company, at home, and in society. So these people, they worked 2 hours in small teams. They identified a lot of action points, and then they take it home. And the idea there is to do more of those workshops and then share best practices and make people and working in companies to help them to develop. Technology is also an important one. So there we started in October last year to deploy our first trash boom. That's on the next slide. So we went to Indonesia, where we aimed straight to go to the most polluted river in the world. That's the Citarum River. It has the world records, unfortunately, of being the most polluted one. So that's also something we like, that to focus on the things where you have the most impact. So this is a trash boom. The system shows very well that the river is dirty before the man sitting in his boat, and then you have the system, and then after it's clear. It's a more cleaner river. So that's the system. And this year, on the next slides, we can see that how it works. So it's a floating element with a grid under. So it stops also the plastic, because a lot of plastic is not on the surface. It's I think 70% is below the surface. So it stops the plastic, and we put it not in the main river, but in the side rivers. So we allow still ships to pass by, but it blocks all the side rivers. And then we have a collection system. That's what we're going to start this year. 5 of those we will be deployed in Indonesia, and then we will get it out, sort it, clean it, and make sure it's managed in a proper way. We always combine it with, you can go to the next slide. I will do like this for the next slide, okay? Then I will swipe to the next one. So we always combine people and technology. So when we do this, when we deploy the systems, we would also do a cleanup with the local people, local community, because the clean locally, the celebrate globally, it has to be fun, and people have to see that it's fun to save the world, I always say, and a celebration after the cleanup, and the good feeling of doing something good. It's just amazing. Yeah, so that's one technology. In Antwerp, in 1 month, we will install this one in Merksem, together with Multimasters, one of our partners, and they will, on a weekly basis, empty the system and get the plastic out. So it's a test. We are trying many systems. So this is one of the systems we will do in Antwerp. Next slide, you can see the system. Yeah, here it's where the system will be. So in the corner, this system, the River Whale, it's from a French startup, H2Up. Amazing, simple design, but this thing is just lying without any electricity or any power, lying in a strategic place in the river or in the harbor, and is waiting for the trash. And his fingers, if you want to call it like that, and the collector, they stop the plastic, and then somebody goes there, opens the lid, takes it out, and it's up to 300 kilograms a month that this also collects. So that's another one. What we also do, we will put in Düsseldorf, where we found a super spot because this water is flowing and it creates a certain current. So all the trash is pushed towards the stairs. So on the right slide picture, you can see the stairs where I'm standing at the water, and all the trash is there, so the people can just pick it up from the riverbank. So that's also good. The next slide, and then together with a big company in Belgium, we are designing, or we have first designs for a trash lock. This is just a working title, but there it is in Brussels, where we want to put a system that closes and opens to let the ship pass. We do this together with Canal it Up. They do big cleanup operations, or weekly or bi-weekly cleanup operations with kayaks, and that's also one of the things we are looking into. But that are the things that we are testing now that we know. For the last one, we are looking for funding, and there, of course, we also go to the big ones like Henkel, Coca-Cola, Unilever. For us, I mean, financing systems like this or being part of the project is for us certainly possible, because like I said, it's everybody in this, and we all need to work on this together.
Yeah, it's really great to see that. I'm also working in technology, so I really like that. With innovation, we can do a lot. So one of the things that I also saw and I also found very inspiring is the ocean cleanup, right? And the ocean cleanup from Boyat, he launched in October 2019, the Interceptor, and he said that he could clean the 1,000 most polluted rivers by 2025. So are you also in contact with him, or?
Yeah, we were this close on saying hi, but he was too busy. But we went already quite some time, I think 4 or 5 times to Rotterdam, to the headquarters, and we're looking now at this time also to one of the most polluted rivers in Europe, and there we want to deploy something, but it's of course not certain. Many factors are still to be confirmed, but I think they're also open for partnerships, and I think they like our approach as well, because we like to do crazy things. We were at Tomorrowland last year, that everybody said it will be impossible to be there, but we were there with 2 teams of 15 people. So we always try to do the things that are a bit crazy. And the idea we have with them is also super cool, to take an interceptor all through Europe, over the Rhine and the Danube, and then put it in the most polluted river in Europe, to create awareness, to educate people, team building with companies, and to get like 100,000 people involved in this project. But yeah, so we're talking with them. We didn't high five with Boy and Slat yet, but I'm sure that in the next year it's on the list. I'm sure we will do that. So
yeah, it would be great.
Yeah,
indeed.
cool.
Also a very inspiring guy.
Because thanks to them, actually, the problem is everybody knows the problem. Before ocean cleanup, okay, nobody knew how big it is or how severe it is, but now we all know that it's the size of France, I think, in the middle of the ocean, that's lying there, or yeah, it's or I don't know, or a multiple of the size of France. I don't know by heart, but it's actually a lot of plastic that is lying there. So.
Right, great. Yeah, let's go back to cleanups, right? So we have plans together, right, to organize World Cleanup Day Belgium on September 19th. So let's go over all these plans and see how the partnerships and everything.
Yeah. Last year also we worked together, and I think on the next picture you can see a nice collaboration between my sister on the right and myself on the left. So River Cleanup and World Cleanup Day, they joined forces in Antwerp, where we had 700 people and a huge cleanup. The headquarters of World Cleanup was also there, the call center. So It was a very nice. We had a lot of press and a lot of people. Super sunny day, so it was an amazing event. This year we intend to take it bigger, and again the same partner as last year, JCI, 10 minutes a day, World Cleanup Day, River Cleanup. Mooimaak it's a big activator in Belgium, in Flanders, and BEWAP it's in Wallonia. We already worked with them, World Cleanup Day worked with them, but this year we really want to activate their whole community as well, to be involved and to really work together on World Cleanup Day. So we sit around with them, or we sat around, and we now know how we will do it, and it will not be on one day. It will be spread over 2 weekends, because the Wallonian part of Belgium, they reported their action, a big action, to the fourth weekend of September. So we found a way to combine it, and we will all work much closer together on this project. I think on the next slide you can see a bit more in detail. So the first weekend, 19th, we will have big actions. Inico Beach Cleanup will also be there if the coastal communes allow it. We will have our 4 big actions. We will have all the smaller actions of JCI, of Mooimaak. So that's the first weekend. And then the second weekend, I think up to 150,000 people work all together on the Wallonish, or the French-speaking part of Belgium, with BEWAP. So there we also work together with them and take 2 cities where we will make bigger events if we are allowed. And it was not planned, but the fourth weekend is World River Day. So actually it's between World Cleanup Day and World River Day. We do a very nice action, and we aim, I think if all goes well, we aim to activate 200,000 people compared to 25 last year, or 30 I think last year. So yeah, that's by working together with everybody, we have all the objectives to get more impact. And I think the website of World Cleanup Day will be a little bit like a landing page where you can see the big events where you can join, or you can set up your own actions over our partner network, Mooimaak or BEWAP. So we look very much forward to that. I think this is already the map from this weekend, no?
Yeah, indeed. So World Cleanup Day is still some months ago, and some months away, right? So we all need to practice, and the more we practice, better and cleaner the world will be. So that's really great. And I understand this weekend you have another action plan, right?
Yeah.
So next weekend we want to have as much people around the rivers, or if you have no river in your city, well, it's also fine to just clean up in your neighborhood or in front of your house. A little bit as a practice on how with this crisis that we are now having in the world, the pandemic, the solo cleanup, doing it a little bit like that, right?
Yeah, the initial idea was to have big actions in 4 big cities in Belgium and have really our day like we had in Antwerp with 500-600 people. COVID decided differently, so we quickly changed our approach, and now we said, okay, we wanted to have big actions and then some actions in the world. Now we switched it, and now we completely focused to have COVID-proof actions, individual actions with you're alone, with a friend, or with your family, your household, or your bubble, how they call it in Belgium. And at this time, we had the ambition to have 100 locations worldwide. And now we are at 225 locations, so that's more than the double. We are at 115 rivers, so I think it's so nice that we have over 100 rivers that will be cleaned, or actions along 100 rivers that will take place in 31 or 32 countries. So the river already connects countries and people by nature, but with this action we aim to create an even stronger connection. And I think in the world today, with a lot of people that want to split things and to do things alone and don't work together, I think it's also a very nice symbol to all work together on one day in 32 countries, 115 rivers, and take action. And that's that's we were amazed that so many people were willing to join. And yeah, as from today, also more people, more teams join. So if you are watching this and you're free this Sunday, it's super easy actually to join. So we don't need big actions, we just need your action. That's the thing I always say. So you just go to the site, set up your location, give us your email address so we can contact you with practical info. So website, email address, you take your gloves, you take a bag, you go out and you clean it up. And if you do it, you send us a picture. We will make a super nice after movie. We will make sure the press knows about it. And the idea is there again to create more awareness and to get more people for the first time out to clean it up, and to have more people reading about it, feeling the vibe that it's super fun to do this. And yeah, that's the objective of this Sunday. And we are very, very happy that we have found so many local teams. Sometimes people that never did it, sometimes people that are diehards every day or every week cleaning. So that we are super thankful that we found them and that they all joined our cause. So that's for this Sunday. That are our partners. So I think after our last action, we didn't had the chance to add 200 more logos. So we're still working on that. But these are the partners from the beginning of the year. So they are there. And I think is there another slide? Yeah, no. Yeah, everybody that's watching this, take a picture from our Instagram tag or our Facebook tag and follow us. And if you feel like joining, of course, World Cleanup Day, that's first this weekend, then World Cleanup Day, and then if you feel like doing more all through the year, it's also possible. So just contact us.
Indeed, with the inspiration of 10 minutes a day, right? Eh? Sometimes doing just 10 minutes a day with your daily walk and cleaning up a little bit just to relax in nature. It's really awesome. And definitely now when you have the coronavirus and COVID, a lot of people going to walk in the evening and then just take it back and clean up.
Yeah.
But indeed, yeah. Next Sunday, great practice for World.
This Sunday, so it's a 3 days. So if you want to join, it's easy. Go to the site, register, or send us an email at thomas@rivercleanup.org, or you will find a way to contact us.
Yeah, indeed. I see a question in the chat. So a question from Kevin. Yeah. What's the most memorable cleanup that you had? Can you tell a little bit about the most memorable?
Yeah, it's difficult to pick, but it's not every cleanup is memorable because it's always fun to meet new people and to be surprised. But I would say the one in Strasbourg was very special, where we activated one day before the vote for the single-use plastic reduction. We had a cleanup with 20 members of parliament. Also, the president was also there, so we did a cleanup in front of the parliament. So that was super cool. And also, like the tradition, once it's linked to World Cleanup Day, every year we go to Tallinn. And until now, it's already the second time we did it. We make a huge party with everybody all over the world. And then at 7 o'clock in the morning, straight from the party, we go to Jean-Paul Meus, who is always there, of course. We wake him up. He says, "Oh, no, what are you doing here?" And then with music and with a lot of fun, we go out and we do again a 10 minutes cleanup to honor his initiative and to honor him for inspiring so many people. So I think that's the most memorable. There are videos of that as well on our Facebook page. So if you want to see how it goes, you have to check it.
Yeah, and it's also amazing. And one of the things that I found most amazing is the fact that you can mobilize and connect with a lot of people around the world, right? So with World Cleanup Day, it's the same. We have a lot of countries, so we have also a lot of people. That's also something, in
And,
my
and
opinion.
everybody's your friend from the first second, because you're doing something good, so you're connected directly, and it creates such a nice vibe, if you can call it like that. So that's true.
Yeah, and another thing that I'm also found very amazing is the fact that when you are cleaning up, a lot of people are also thanking you. So one of the things that I found when I did a cleanup last year or 2 years ago, then there were people who were saying, "Oh, that's great what you're doing. Thank you very much." And so these gratitude from other people, that's also something
Yeah.
that's really inspiring and really motivating,
Yeah.
in my opinion. The next step is, of course, that they are also joining, but I think that's also a very great step
Yeah.
to have that and to mobilize that on people itself. It's like even Jean-Paul Meus, he's doing his cleanup with a suit to really address that and to really do that.
Yeah.
Do that, of course. Eh?
Yeah.
Now, another question from Kevin was, what are your future plans?
So by 2025, we want to get the 8 billion to 0. That's the dream. So it's crazy, I know. We will not do it alone, but that's the objective. So I would say that next year we are now preparing a blue book for river cleanup that people can easily join and step by step grow from a 10 minutes to a 10 people cleanup to a 100 people cleanup to a 10 locations cleanup to a 10,000 people cleanup. So that's what we have. Of course, we start from 10 minutes to 100 people. That's the first step. But now we're talking to India. Yesterday we had a call with Cameroon, where people are super excited because they feel that the river is the thing that connects people, that attracts people, and it makes sense because you can see it's flowing to the sea. So that's one of the things, to activate more teams and develop that, and then focus big time on technology, like the project in Bandung, Indonesia. That's a key project for us, key strategic project, where we will set up our own facility and then learn from that, and then also deploy that to many other regions, because it's a relatively cheap solution, if you want to say. The material that is used, it's not a high tech system. It just works. It just does what it is. You can produce it locally as well. You can create local employment, and the idea is then really to collect as much trash as possible and make sure to dispose it in a proper, legit way to avoid that it comes back to the river or the ocean.
Yeah.
The plan. So we need to go to 0. Next time we talk in 5 years, we have a presentation. Then you will ask, and Thomas, how did you get it to 0? Where are we? I hope.
But it's also important to measure, right?
Yeah.
So I think that are also things that you need to see. How can we measure things? And I think it's a little bit easier to measure, maybe, or I don't know. Maybe it's also difficult to measure it on rivers. But measuring everything, what's been dropped on the whole planet is much bigger and much like.
I think if you in the river you can put a system and then it blocks on the land. It's difficult to put systems unless you have vacuum cleaners or something. But the river automatically brings everything, with the flood brings everything to one place, so it's easier. So, but still, I still have to count it and to tag it. So it's.
But I hope we don't end up with Wally at the end, the robot that is cleaning it for us, because that would be really a shame.
No, but I think it depends on us, and I think that's also good. The more people, World Cleanup Day, River Cleanup, and many organizations all over the world, they're popping up. I mean, you see that more and more people are getting aware, and that's the good thing that keeps us going. Because sometimes you can see you go back to a place and it's again the same trash, people having a barbecue on the Rhine here, or just drinking beer and just leaving everything. So sometimes you can get demotivated by that. But I think if we keep going, and if the more people we can inspire and can convince to continue, we will reach it. I'm sure. But maybe I'm optimist. But I think there are more and more people just convinced that change is needed, and that are changing and are inspiring others to change. So I'm confident that we will. That together we can do it.
It's important to be an optimist, right? So that's totally it. And I think with our enthusiasm and our positive energy, we can we can do great things together and inspire a lot of people. Okay, another question. When can we sign up for the World Cleanup Day in September? Oh, right. That's indeed also a very good question. We are working together with like and the other side, BWAP, and they are creating a page so that it's also a little bit more centralized. It gets a little bit more of a visibility also on the Mooimakers community itself. I don't know if you can say a little bit more about that also, Thomas.
I think you're developing the page, and I think beginning of July we are aiming to get a first press release out where we all parties together say this is what we're going to do in September. So I would think that in 1 month the site should be available. That's the intention. I think then 2 months before the event, it's good. 2.5.
Yeah. I think that's indeed the aim. I think we are now still a little bit waiting on certain few bits and pieces. It's a little bit different than last year. Last year it was only on our side of World Cleanup Day, but again we want to aim it a little bit bigger. We want to have more partners on board. This year we also aimed with World Cleanup Day on getting more sponsors, but yeah, again, with what's happening right now, it's not easy.
Melle is joining. That's great.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
I also saw Melle joining the river cleanup this weekend. So I don't know if it's the same Frederik. I don't know all the names by heart because the last 2 weeks it were a lot of names. So Melle is already there. So if you want to join this weekend as well, you're welcome. I think it's. I think it's a good thing what you said. Kevin is asking the same question.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I think what's sure that on 19th of September there will be actions. So don't be afraid that it will be COVID and whatever. Okay, when there's a super big outbreak again, yes, but you can always take action alone unless they lock us up, and I don't see that coming in September. So if we all go out alone and we all take action along a river nearby, in front of your door, just do it. I mean, if everybody does it, if you believe every day, then the world will be cleaner. So,
and even then, I think for cities, just putting out a table there and then really say to the people that they are not coming with big groups all together, but also have these distances, and then just with your family clean up, but get the material on a central place will also work, right? So these are things that we are now working on, looking into, trying to get our plans back there. I see a lot of tension. I see also a lot of people working on things that had big plans and achievements last year. So that's also a really great thing to jump on what's going on our next webinar. On our next webinar, we will have the girls from World Cleanup Day Zemst. They achieved 5% last year, and they will also do it this year. So they will present how they did it last year. So it will also inspire everybody, and I think they will also have some kind of insights on how to do it, maybe solo. So we'll see. So that's also, I think, an awesome thing to watch. Yeah. Thank you very much, Thomas.
Yeah, my pleasure, and thank you for giving us opportunity to share our story. And I'm very happy that in Belgium again we work together, and it's the start, I think, of much more. So yeah, thanks to you and the rest of the team for this, and also for doing and volunteering, because people often forget that it's a lot of volunteering and a lot of hours and a lot of work. But so I think it's really cool that you're doing this.
Yeah, it's indeed after our hours and our day-to-day job. But it's like you said, it's just so inspiring and so great to do something impactful and great for the world. So that's the reason why we do it, and that's also the reason why I'm a member of GCI. Right? Okay. So thank you very much. See you next time, and
Take
Bye.
care, everybody. Thanks for listening, and see you on one of the next events. Ciao.